Good evening. Welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church. This is our Music Minute. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry here, and we have been on a hiatus for a while. You've had a special Lenten and Easter Music Minute, which was just some music that we put together from those seasons. And now we are back to looking at our hymns for tomorrow and maybe giving you a little bit of history, more than you want to know. I don't know. But we'll go with what we have, right? So we're going to go in order today. Lots of good music to get through. The Day of Resurrection is our gathering hymn, and this is actually related to Exodus 15, and it reminds us that Christ gets us through and remains the victor. Earth tells the gladness of this great marvel in this great story. John of Damascus is the author of the text, and he was a poet of the Greek church. This is an anonymous tune that you'll recognize that comes from the 18th and 19th century German Roman Catholics. So this is the Day of Resurrection. All right, we will move on to our hymn of the day. The King of Love, My Shepherd Is. This is one that many people love. It's a version of Psalm 23, and this lands in the Holy Communion section of our hymnal because of verse 5, and that's the imagery of a chalice on the table the shepherd has spread before us. The tune is named for Saint Columba, who was the Irish saint who founded monasteries and brought Christianity to Scotland. This is The King of Love, My Shepherd Is. Next, we'll go to communion. We'll have a lot to do during communion. This is Praise the One Who Breaks the Darkness. And this was written by Rusty Edwards in 1986, so it's rather recent. It was first published in the Lutheran Journal, and then it went on to 10 hymns in the United States, Canada, and Scotland. And this is in actually all three of the major Lutheran hymnals, so the ELCA, the Missouri Synod, and the Wisconsin Synod. So it's in all three of those. That's a little unusual. Edwards wrote this while he was doing a Bible study about the life and ministry of Jesus, and it focuses on the astounding nature of what Jesus has accomplished for us in his brief earthly ministry, but it also goes well beyond that, so that it's not just what was done here on earth. Praise the One Who Breaks the Darkness. All right, and also during communion, we will sing Nothing Can Trouble. And this was from Teresa of Avila in a handwritten poem that she used as a bookmark. She used simple language that inspires the text of this Nothing Can Trouble. This is a short song. It's effective as a refrain or a chant. It's just nothing can trouble, nothing can frighten. Those who seek God shall never go wanting. Nothing can trouble, nothing can frighten. God alone fills us. These words are allowed to soak into us by repetition, to reassure, to soothe, to set the tone for prayer. So you could use this in many different places. We used it during Lent, I believe. Actually, Advent, we did a little bit there, but it's a nice repetitive little prayer. Nothing can trouble. nice and simple. All right, last but not least is our sending hymn, and it is Jesus Lifted Me. This is actually a call and response piece. You might not have known that. The printed page of this song is really only an approximation of what the song might have sounded like. And the earliest that we can find this in our hymnody is actually from Lift Every Voice and Sing Hymnal, which was a supplement to the Episcopal Hymnal in 1971. And it sometimes happens that an African-American spiritual survived in oral tradition only, and it was not published until fairly recently, which might be the case here. The distinction between spirituals and gospel songs often gets a little complicated and a little blurred and mushed together, and that might have happened here too. But nonetheless, this is a great song that bursts into a glory hallelujah, Jesus lifted me, and hopefully you'll sing it with that gusto tomorrow. Jesus lifted me. All right, so your mission is to sing it with that much gusto tomorrow. Thank you for joining me again this evening. It's good to be back together with you, and hope that you've enjoyed this. If you're coming in person tomorrow, our services are still at 8:30 and 11 in person here in the sanctuary, and our 11 o'clock service is live streamed on YouTube as always. Thanks again. We'll be back together again next week. Have a great evening.